Alright guys, today we are going to go over a couple of performance improvement mods, and I just wanted to show you real quick. This is base vanilla game. This doesn't have any mods on right now at all, and at the top right you can see the frames per second, which I went ahead and uncapped, and also the VRAM. So right now you can see those numbers. They're floating somewhere around 80 to 90 frames per second, and I just want to go over, this is one of the most intensive um, places, is immediately exiting the sewers. I've heard from a lot of people that they get a lot of stuttering, there's a lot of frame rate dips. I'm going to just go ahead and finish and exit sewers, and we're going to see what this all looks like before I start diving into some mods that I think might help performance if you're having issues exiting the sewers. Frames per second. Whoa, what a drop. You see that up there? That was at 3 frames a second until it finally got back up to 30, not 90 whatsoever. Now, some of that might have to do with the sun, the water reflection. I mean, this game is graphically gorgeous, so it's to be expected, sort of. You've got a little bit of this jitteriness. I'm going to get into some combat real quick and see frames are still floating around 30, as expected. If I dive into the water, check frames and see how that's looking. Still sitting around 30. Okay. Alright, so frame rate, it's looking at FPS is 30. Alright. Alright guys, we are going to go through the process real quick of installing Ultimate Engine tweaks. This is a performance mod. It changes the Unreal Engine any file to make performance improvements without losing any graphical fidelity. So you're going to notice better frame rates and less stuttering and all that stuff, and you're not going to be losing any graphical joys. In the file section here, also I'm going to have a link in the description for this file, for this mod. We've got a no VRR and a VRR, different versions. That's the difference here. Pick which is which. I'm going to go ahead with the no VRR and do a manual download. And I already have a, oh, gotta do a slow download. I already have a folder here for manual installation mods. I'm just going to go ahead and save it, and I already have this folder here, so it is now installed in a zip, so I'm going to go ahead and go to 7-zip, and I'm going to extract 2. We've got this folder now. I no longer need this zip file, so I'm going to go ahead and delete it. We've got this Oblivion Unreal Engine folder here. We've got the engine.ini file. All we have to do is replace our existing engine.ini file with this file, and that's the entire installation of the mod. There is a bit of trickiness when trying to find where this engine.ini file exists on your machine. If you look at the mod website, it's going to tell you that it is inside Documents, My Games, Oblivion Remastered, Saved, Configured Windows. If you are just browsing about, you might go to Documents, My Games, you'll see Oblivion Remastered and think, oh good. Then you've got Saved, Save Games, Nope, that's not it. OBSE, logs, nope, that's not it. So once you get here to My Games Oblivion Remastered and Saved, you're going to notice there's no config folder here. And the reason is that this is the OneDrive cloud area and we need to stay away from that. We are going to go into your C drive. For me, at least, it's the C drive. For you guys, it might be a different drive. Regardless, we're going to go to Users. Clicked on My User. We're going to go to Documents folder, My Games, Oblivion Remastered, Saved, and then we're going to go into Config and Windows. I will leave a file path in the description of the video so you guys can see exactly the path it takes to get here, so there's less confusion. All we're going to do is drag this engine.ini file over, and we're going to replace the file that already exists. Once we do that, there is one last step for this engine.ini. We're going to go to the properties, and we're going to just verify that the read-only checkmark is ticked. This is important because when the game runs, it's going to try to overwrite the engine.ini file. If there's any updates for the game, it might overwrite the engine.ini file. This just maintains that we can read the file, but we can't replace it. We can't delete it. Or, well, I guess we could delete it, but we can't edit the file in any way. So it's just going to stay there kind of permanent until we do something about it ourselves. We're not going to let the game itself replace that. That's the entire installation for Ultimate Engine tweaks. Hope that helps. Alright guys, we are going to compare FPS now that I have Ultimate Engine tweaks installed. I tried testing just a second ago, and unfortunately it was raining, so the FPS was around exactly the same as it was on a sunshiny day, and I noticed that when the rain is pouring and there's a body of water, there's droplets and stuff, it's kind of crazy on performance. So let's see here. FPS is floating somewhere around the 30s. That's about comparable to what it was before. So I'm not seeing a huge performance gain out of this. Ooh, that would jump up to 40. Maybe I am. Oh, it's raining now. Yep, okay. Well, there it is. I guess I'm not going to test without rain. That's fine. You notice all the water, all the droplets here, I've got a little thing going on. Yeah. Alright. Well, I would say performance has probably increased. I noticed there weren't a lot of stutters going on. Definitely feels like it's a better performance. And I hope this is going to help. The mileage may vary depending on your machine. I did see in the description, if you've got a higher end machine, you're not going to notice as much of a performance increase than if you have a lower end machine. So hopefully this is going to help some guys out there that are struggling exiting the sewers. And we're going to move on to the next mod. Alright guys, we are going to go over the installation of Lumen Begone mod. This disables the ray tracing for better performance. If you are a fan of the ray tracing, this is definitely not the mod for you, but this is a performance enhancement which can show good frames per second improvements, in addition to some other things as well. Perfect for potato PCs and Steam Deck adventurers. So we're going to look at the files here and go through the installation process. We have two versions here. This is the regular Lumen Begone. All this does is remove the ray tracing, but this mod is unique in such a way that they've kind of taken in the Ultimate Engine Tweaks mod that we showcased earlier in the video and included it and all of its glory and just had their Lumen Begone modifier to that engine.ini file included as well. So we got both versions. We have just the Lumen Begone and we got the Lumen Begone plus the Ultimate Engine tweaks all in one. Highly recommended if you have poor performance or anything and you want to see a noticeable improvement in performance and don't mind losing ray tracing. So I'm going to go ahead and go through the installation process here. It's going to be very similar to the Ultimate Engine tweaks. We're going to do a manual download. It's going to be a zip file. We've got it in our manual mods location. I'm going to pull up the folders we've got. Lumen Begone Ultimate Engine Tweaks is right here. This is the bundle. We're going to go to 7-zip and extract to here. Let's make a nice folder here. We don't need this zip anymore. Go here. There is a engine.ini file here, and similar to the path before, which I'm also leaving in the description just to help you guys out, we just come over here, drag this engine.ini, and replace the file. Now, similar as before, we go to this engine.ini and we're going to go to properties, and look at that, read only was disabled. We need to enable it and make sure that it is not going to get wiped out from some rogue update. And that's the entire installation process for Lumen Begone. And I'm going to go ahead and check performance now. Alright guys, we are now recording and looking at the FPS on this. We already have a huge FPS performance boost. We are floating around 120 inside the sewers. Let's look at some of this graphical fidelity, see what everything is looking at. It looks like it's just ray tracing that is gone, which is fine. Everything still looking good. Lights are still very much on. Let's take a look outside the sewers here and see what that FPS is looking like. Alright, so we are still floating around 30, though it is above 30 rather than below, which is a huge bump. In my eyes, ooh, we're almost hitting 40. Okay. So this might be just a minor bump. Oh my goodness, I got disease and I'm over encumbered now. Dang. A potion of cure disease. That's crazy. Surely I've got something. Nope. Absolutely not. Okay. Well, regardless, I think that we have tested this out a bit, and we've got FPS still looking good at around 40. Exiting the sewers is one of the huge impact-heavy spots that kind of test your system out, and this is a great place to test some of these performance improvements. Look at that, we're almost at 50 FPS out here, when earlier in the base game we were floating somewhere between 25 and 30. So huge performance boost, very happy about this, and that's going to conclude our testing for the Ultimate Engine tweaks and Lumen Begone bundled together. Alright guys, we are going to go over the anti-telemetry mod that we've got here. This mod's a very simple mod. It's just a quick and easy way to remove a couple of things that are being sent to, I assume Bethesda, but let's see here. This is just some of the information that they send, computer hardware specs, the experience gain every time you gain experience, um, leveling up, NPC kills, your death information, performance of the game, and a couple of different settings. Essentially what they're going to use telemetry for is when you start having crashes, they're going to be able to pick up all the different things that occurred. So if you crash when you die, they need the death information. If you crash when you level up, they need that information. If you crash when you gain experience, and like let's say you got hand to hand at 100 and you gain experience in hand to hand and it crashes because you were going to go over 100 or something. Telemetry is just kind of picking up on that, and they can further patch the game and have better information when people complain about crashes and whatnot. So it's useful information for them. It's definitely not a problem, I would say, to have telemetry enabled, but the game did not include a way to disable telemetry, and some games do. So this is a mod that simply just allows you to disable it, completely removes it. The installation process appears to be pretty straightforward, although there is a requirement for OBSE 64, the Oblivion Remastered script extender. If you watched my video that I posted earlier today, assuming these are coming out the same day, it's the previous video. That'll help you install OBSE and make sure that you can run it when you're running Oblivion Remastered from Vortex. So definitely watch that and follow along here after you've got that installed. Okay, so the files here, pretty straightforward. It's just one anti-telemetry. It's versions 0.1. It is either a manual download or a mod manager download. And in this case, mod manager download is definitely the way to go. Just click that. It's going to take you to that page where you pick slow download or fast download. I already have it downloaded, so I'm not going to install it again. But I would pick the slow download, and then it's going to show up here on Vortex, which I've already got pulled up. And you can see we've already got anti-telemetry installed. It's version 0.1. And when it downloads, it should automatically get enabled. You saw some background stuff going on there. Anti-telemetry is now installed and ready to go. And all you have to do to make sure that you got it is launch the game. It should be just as simple and straightforward as that. And if you have any issues, let me know, but I don't think there really will be. Alright, thanks guys, hope that helps. Alright guys, we are testing the performance after we have the Ultimate Engine tweaks and Lumen Begone bundle installed, as well as the anti-telemetry. Now, telemetry I don't think is going to improve performance too much, but it is going to remove a couple of background processes. The telemetry essentially is just recording some of the things that you do, actions, and they are sending them off to like Bethesda, and I think they're just keeping a tab, making sure that if there's crashes, they know exactly what happened. It will sort of affect performance, and we're going to just check it out, what the FPS is looking like now that we have anti-telemetry installed and up and running and working. So the FPS right now is floating at a steady 110, 120 in the sewers. When we exit the sewers, assuming it's a sunny day and this is a good comparison, we should see just a slight increase in performance, but we'll see. I don't even think it'll be that much. Let's see. Floating above 30, getting close to 40. It's about comparable. And say, this is definitely not a performance mod. I just assume that it's going to help performance because it's removing some background processes. So, yeah, it's FPS is floating solidly around 35, which is okay compared to like the 25 we were getting earlier. Yep. Man, this game looks good. Alright guys, that's just to check on the FPS. No big deal. And we're going to call it there. Alright guys, we are going to go ahead and check out combat real quick with the mod difficulty slider fixed. So this is the vanilla experience, which is the adept. And I'm just going to show you guys a quick little fight. Got shot. 4 attacks. That's a block. That was a pretty easy fight. Okay, now we are going to up it to expert and reload that save. Go through that fight one more time and just show a little issue that a lot of people have probably already found. The difficulty slider is astronomical increase in difficulty between normal difficulty and expert.
The last mistake you'll ever make.
Oh my goodness! Look at all that health.
Show me what you've got.
Huh. I'm almost dead. Oh my goodness. Okay. So that right there left me with 10 health total. So, yeah. And now, dare I try, we're gonna, okay. We're gonna change difficulty to master. And we're gonna reload that same save and see how it goes on master difficulty. Now I have found when I played, I started on expert thinking I'll work my way up to master. There's new combat mechanics. I'm going to try to figure some stuff out. But then I fought a zombie and found out real fast that expert's a little more intense than I was expecting. Look at that damage sponginess. Look at my health drop very, very rapidly. Yep, I'm not even gonna kill one of them, I don't think. Yep. Okay, so what I'm getting at is the difficulty slider. It's very extreme. I don't think that it was intentional to be this crazy, and there are rumors going around that it's going to get fixed in a update soon. We'll see about that. But in the meantime, what we have instead is a mod for this, and I'm going to get into that in just a little bit. Alright guys, so in order to resolve this little deficiency in the scaling for difficulties, we have this difficulty slider fixed mod here. And if we read the description here, basically it comes in different versions. And you can see the difficulty sliders only change damage taken and damage dealt. So you can see what the values are here. Adept is 1-to-1. Master is you take 6 times the damage and you deal 0.167 of the damage dealt, which is obscene. and it's the exact vice versa on novice difficulty, which is an astronomical difference. It's a 36 times swing between damage taken, damage dealt. Um, and this guy, all he did was change the scaling to be a bit different. So essentially, vanilla is a times 6. So this way, it's times 6 and divided by 6. Well, these different versions of the mod change that value to either 1.5, double, 2.5, or 3 times. And somewhere in here, hopefully, people are going to get their sweet spot where they think the difficulty is making more sense. As you can see, even with the highest version of this, 3 times difficulty, master difficulty isn't even as strong as expert. And I remember when I was playing, I thought, man, I need something in between expert and adept, because adept is kind of child's play. I'm running over everything in my path, but expert is going to get me killed. I'm going to run out of all my supplies. I'll have no healing potions. It's going to be a problem. And a grind fest. And that's just expert, let alone master difficulty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and walk you guys through how to install this mod, get it set up with Vortex, and then we're going to test it a little bit. I will go ahead and download this 3 times with the mod manager. Get a slow. And I think the beauty here is that we can also get the times 2. Now, I'm only going to test one of these, but I might play with either in the future. And we can check Vortex here, and we see difficulty slider fixed times 2 and times 3. I'm going to go ahead and leave the times 3 here because that's the hardest that this person put it, which is about half, because it was times 6 normally. So we've got this times 3, and here in a second I'm going to go ahead and test it, and we will see it. Hope this installation helped. Alright guys, we are back with the mod installed. We are currently on the Adept difficulty. I'm just going to run in here and show you guys that Adept is virtually the exact same as in just regular vanilla. Boom, boom. 4 hit, and then this guy. Pretty easy. So let's go ahead and change this to expert, and then load this save. I'll do this fight one more time, but at a difficulty high. And I know this is also just 2 bandits, but I think it serves the purpose. When you get into a boss fight and the difficulty's crazy, it's going to be way worse.
Let's get this over with.
I even stepped on fire. Alright. So this is definitely more than before, but definitely more forgiving than expert. And this is 2 low-life bandits with light armor that I am fighting. Was not really in danger against the 2 of them, I would say. Which is great, I guess. You don't want to die to 2 lone bandits on expert difficulty, I don't think. In my opinion, anyways. Comment down below if you think that that's dumb. But now we're going to test master difficulty, and we'll see how this goes. Alright, so this master difficulty should be slightly easier than Vanilla's Expert.
Showing your face was the last
Let's
mistake you'll
start
ever
here.
make.
But very comparable to Vanilla's Expert. You'll notice I'm not instantly dead. I did get a kill on a, again, low-life bandit in light armor. Like, not a bandit leader, not, whatever. So yeah. And this would be Master if you install this mod, which I think is great. It feels really bad trying to find a sweet spot between Expert and regular difficulty in vanilla. And this mod kind of provides that. So I will leave a link in the description below on where to get this on Nexus Mods. Alright guys, thanks for watching, hope this helps. Have you guys ever been going around fighting random bandits in fur armor, trying to get some valuable loot, and then you notice, dang, if I go search his body, he doesn't have any weapons. Man. Now that axe is pretty freaking visible right now. But what happens after I'm going around fighting this bowman? Drops a dagger. Man, that's also not in their inventory. That is a travesty. And now if I pick that up and I head back here to this guy, his shield's all the way over here, his axe is here, and sometimes we're not fighting on open terrain like this. What happens if they have a magical item that's been kicking your butt this whole fight? Nothing you can do about it. That's some valuable loot that you don't want to have go to waste. Well, with the power of modding, I think I have a solution, guys. Actually, two solutions. Two mods doing the same thing. Both of them equally do it just fine. I'm going to go ahead and showcase both and installation for both, but just keep in mind both of them are going to do virtually the exact same thing. Alright guys, we are looking at two mods here. Enemies' weapon stays on corpse, and killed NPCs don't drop their weapons. Both of these mods are going to do the exact same thing and prevent NPCs to drop their weapons when they die. I am going to test each one at a time, but I'm going to go ahead and do the installation for both right here, right now. So we're going to do a mod manager download, we're going to do a slow download for the top file for this one, and we are also going to do the same mod manager download for the first one, also with the slow download. If we look on Vortex, NPCs, I'm going to disable the killed NPCs for now. And I'm just going to ensure enable, enemies dropped weapon stays on corpse. So it's showing up right there. Yes, it is. Okay. Then we are going to go ahead and run the game and see if this is working. Alright guys, we're back and we are just going to test some of this out now. Again, this mod right now is
You move like a pregnant cow.
the enemy's weapon stays on corpse. Just to confirm, look at that, axe and shield are both there. And just to also make sure here, iron dagger is there. Alright, seems to be working perfectly. Let's get to the next one. Alright guys, now we are testing out killed NPCs. Don't drop their weapons. And let's check. Iron dagger is still there. Let's run back to this guy. We've got the iron war axe and the first shield still on them. Alright guys, that's just confirmation that both of those mods are doing the same thing. They're both working, they're both great mods. I think Enemy's Weapon Stays on Corpse was uploaded first, but they both are very good mods. Both of them are great. I highly recommend either one. Kind of doesn't matter which one you pick. Alright guys, hope that helps. Alright guys, we are going to look at something very interesting here before I go over two mods that both generally approach the same issue with two different directions. I know which one that I prefer, and I think that there's a lot of people out there that probably prefer the same thing, and a lot of people that prefer the other. Either way, I'm not trying to get controversial. I'm just trying to fill everybody in on some mods that are pretty popular right now. Hopefully provide some good content for you in a single player game that ultimately it doesn't matter. The thing that I'm highlighting right now is the body type, which is a modern audience, modern game, weird thing games like to do. In the original Oblivion, it was male and female. In this, they decided that they're going to do type 1 and type 2. In every one of these modern games, type 1 is always the female, type 2, secondary off-thought person, is the male, and the Oblivion probably fan base is probably mostly female, I would agree, which is why type 2 is the default when you make a new character, obviously. Regardless of these interesting decisions by developers, we've got some mods that adjust this. All they do is they change the name type 1, type 2. It probably doesn't bother most people, but some people it might, and I'm just going to highlight some mods that can resolve this glitch, this little bug that's in the game, if you're so inclined. Alright guys, we are looking at one of the two mods. This is the body type selector mod. There's a lot of controversy over this mod. As you can see, all it does is renames the body types from type 1 and 2 to male and female. That's it. Should not be controversial. This is a remake of a game where it was male and female. There should not be any controversy over this. A lot of people are still going to be controversial about it anyways. And you can see in the description, it just has a very brief one. It's got a couple of things here, and then Nexus has decided that there are going to be no comments for this mod as well. A lot of controversy over here. There's 3,500 endorsements right now, 19,000 downloads, and 200,000 total views. So that's what we're looking at right now. I'm not going to get into it. I'm just going to show you guys how to get this up and running on your local setup. Then after that, we're going to go over the other one. Alright, mod manager download. That should work just fine. We're going to do a slow download. And then downloads, here it goes. And mods. Body type selector. Look at the load order. Not showing up. Interesting. Well, we'll see if it's up and running. That seems to be it for installation on this. I'm going to load the game and we will see it there. Alright, here we are on a new game, getting our character set up, and if we go into body type, there you have it, male and female. That's the mod. Very controversial. Hope this helps, guys. We're going to get into the other version of this mod in just a second. Alright guys, we are back and we are taking a look at an alternative mod to the exact same bug we found earlier. All this does is turn the body types into he, him, and she, her, if that's what your preference would be. Man, such controversy, I'm sure. This one is relatively new. I think it just got uploaded a little bit ago. It's got 45 endorsements and 215 downloads. I don't think that it's just because one is better than the other or anything like that. I think this popped up very recently. Something else that I found kind of funny was if you look here at the top, between the two, there's the Argonian in the image, and then there's a Khajiit. And anybody that's a big fan of Oblivion, that's some funny stuff. I hope that that was on purpose. Just going at each other. Anyways, a couple things about this mod. I haven't downloaded it yet, but soon to be I will. There's a bunch of things here. It doesn't change the way people talk to you. It literally is just a replacer for the words for the body types. It doesn't mean that you can have a female body and then have he, him pronouns and everyone refer to you as a he in the game. That's not what this mod is. It just changes those two text. It's exactly the same mod, just different language, I guess. So that's a limitation, I think, in the build. I think someone probably would do this if they could do this, but it'd probably be a lot of black sorcery stuff going on. So anyways, we're going to go to files to download this. Now, this does not have a Nexus mods download option for the Vortex. It just has a manual download. That's okay. This is going to be largely a pretty simple thing. I'm going to download it to my manual mods folder again, save it there, and then all I'm going to do is open the folder where that's at. It got pulled there. We are going to go into 7-zip. We're going to extract to here. Body type selector. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this zip. Go to this folder. You see a body type _p pack. That is the file that we need. And I'm going to open up my other folder here. And according to the description, all we have to do is put it in the Paks. That's it. So I'll go ahead and do that. I'm just reading stuff and following stuff. We'll see if this is working out. Move the body type _p pack there. If you want to uninstall this mod later, all you have to do is delete that. No big deal. So let's go ahead and dive in and see if it's up and running now. Alright guys, we are in here making a new character, and if we go to the body section here, you can see these have been updated properly to she, her, and he, him. And that is all there is to this, guys. Hope this helps. Hopefully, if this bothered you, the body type 1 and 2, either one of these mods is going to be up to snuff and par for you on your personal playthrough. Stay classy, guys. I will see you next week. Alright guys, this is just an exit little outro for this series. I just wanted to thank anybody that was watching this and made it this far in the video. Very happy to start this whole process and help people learn how to mod this game. Very happy to share that forward. I know that in the past people helped me out and got things up and running for me in Skyrim, and man, I would love to help people out. Please subscribe if you can and leave a like. It's going to help me grow as a channel and help more people see this so more people can go modding. Thanks guys. See you next week.